Godzilla and Kong. Is that what the X is? Is the X supposed to be, like an ampersand? Shout out to Phineas and Ferb for teaching me what an ampersand is. I know we're all franchised out, but I feel like you can't have too much Godzilla. My legs hurt. This should be fun. Let's go. Let's talk about it. So that was Godzilla and Kong, directed by Adam Wingard, stars Rebecca Hall and Brian Tyree Henry. I recommend watching Godzilla vs. Kong, which was the last, monster movie, just to get some context on Hollow Earth. I don't know if it's entirely necessary, but wait, what was this even about? So Kong is now living in Hollow Earth. Godzilla is still on the surface, and then you have all these different monarch outposts where all the different titans live, and there is some sort of distress call coming from Hollow Earth, and Gia, the girl from Godzilla vs. Kong, she is the last of her tribe. She's also deaf, and she is, sensing this distress call, so it's, I don't really know. That was a disappointment. I mean, I didn't hate it, but I don't know if I liked it. So y'all remember the Transformers movie that came out last summer? The issue that I had with that movie is right about the same reason I'm having issues with this movie, is that the people in this movie are so pointless. Their only role is to move the plot along, and even then, that's unnecessary. They could have just taken people out of this movie altogether and just given us monsters, and I think that would have been much better. The story in and of itself, by itself, was a little nonsensical, but you kind of needed that little girl. You remember the little girl from the first one? And not the first one, but the last one? And you kind of need her because she's a little bit a part of the plot, but even still, I felt like they could have taken that part out and we would have been fine. But yeah, the people here are pointless. There's no character development. There's no real substance to the plot. It's not like the last couple of MonsterVerse movies where we've had people in them, right? And yet they have their own story, their own plot line. They're not just used to move the plot along, but they have they make up the story. They matter to the story. They're pointless here, and that was frustrating. There was little to no substance to this movie. It was just very soulless, weightless. The CGI was kind of And I don't know why they called this Godzilla and Kong, because this is more of a Kong movie. Godzilla's more of a side character in this. I mean, we don't really get good Godzilla action until the very end. So yeah, this is really more Kong's story. We get a lot of personality and a lot of character development from, the very large ape. But Godzilla really doesn't have much of a role in this until we get to the very end. So I don't know why they called the movie that. I'm just disappointed. I'm disappointed as hell. That was disappointing. It was just soulless. I don't know how else to describe it. Like, for what? Why would you do that? Now, the guy that directed Godzilla vs. Kong, which I liked that one, but we have different writers here, and I think that was part of the problem. I really wish they could have kept the same writing team. I think we would have gotten much more out of the human counterpart of the story. They were just pointless. Like, what? Why are you here? You're just here to move the plot along. They added to they were the weak part of the story. I mean, they were the weak part of the story. They really just weighed the movie down, which is crazy because the movie just felt weightless. There was no substance to it. I don't know what else to say. I'm just disappointed. That was disappointing. I'm disappointed. I am so sick of being disappointed. I need something else to be good. Dune Part 2 cannot carry me until the summer season. I need something good. And not just like a nice feel-good movie. Cabrini was good. I'm just talking about a nice, good, blockbustery film. You always get a couple before the summer season. I need a good, decent blockbuster. Something besides Dune Part 2. Dune Part 2 cannot carry me into the summer. Right now, Dune Part 2 is carrying the industry. Okay, it's something else. Anything else. And I propose right now that Hollywood just stop CGIing stuff until they decide they want to put their heart and soul into it. They're not good at it no more. It only looks good when the Japanese do it, or whoever did the creator. I mean, that movie was kind of terrible on its face, but it was so dang pretty. This was such a weak plot, and it shouldn't have been. Movies like this should just be very simple, very basic, but a nice substantive plot. Did I say that word right? It doesn't even matter. It's all a disappointment. Just simple. It doesn't need to be convoluted, but there needs to be some kind of substance there, something there. The people need to have some sort of emotional tie to like it was just very disconnected. All we had was a little girl, and then Brian Tyree Henry's character to be the goofy, comic relief. He just was not what he was in the last one. I think he was so great in the last one. I think that he was just well directed. He gave what he needed to give in the last one. I just felt like it was almost like you could tell he was trying to carry the movie on his shoulders. Like it was all up to him. I'm just tired of going to the movies excited and then leaving sad. I don't feel like that's too much to ask.